friends, and welcome to this episode, numbered episode that I can't remember the number of Star Wars Desperate Gamble.
It's like 14 or something.
It's
7,000.
No, 7,000. I mean,
Yeah, something like that. Somewhere between there.
That would be impressive. Between 14 and 7,000. I don't actually think it is. I think it's like 11 or.
Yeah, it's not even up to 14.
It's 10. See, Salty Ginger has me covered in chat. It's episode 10 of Star Wars Desperate Gamble.
So close.
Hello, welcome. Yeah, we're back this week, ready to rumble.
Let's get ready to. Never mind. Sorry.
We left it on kind of a cliffhanger, but before we get to the Star Wars, we should do the, chatting with everybody, catching up. I always feel like I haven't seen them in a million years, even though I see them pretty much every week, some of them twice. How's it going, friends?
Oh, I'm sorry. I feel like refried death. I've just been so busy with like day job stuff that like I have very little space in my brain for anything other than like sheer panic most of the time. This is my time to kind of get away from that feeling for a few hours.
I see.
Except for the fact that I think that I'm going right into a situation where sheer panic might be called for. So we'll see how that goes.
It seems like an appropriate response.
Who knows? We'll
Extreme.
See. How about you, Andrew? How's stuff? How's things?
These are okay. I'm getting into sumo. I stumbled into a Twitch stream that was streaming a sumo tournament the other night.
That's awesome.
And I may be a fan of sumo now. It's pretty cool.
That's such a like odd thing to just like stumble into. That's really great.
I already have like a couple fighters that I'm a fan of, so it's neat.
Okay,
all right. It's just a very neat thing to watch.
On your recommendation, maybe I'll have to check it out. I don't know.
I've had the opportunity to go to a live sumo tournament, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Very, very cool atmosphere.
Yeah, and there's lots of like formalities and spectacle kind of aspects to it that are very neat to watch. On top of just like cool wrestling stuff.
There are a few things about it that could use some updating, but otherwise, yeah, it's pretty neat.
Sweet.
How's your week, Dave? What's going on with you?
Video games and stuff. That's what I do. I play video games. I've been doing an art course actually, which is new for me. Just going pretty well at the moment. Just pixel art stuff because I love that.
Cool.
Going through the fundamentals, learning what things I've been doing wrong for like years and years and years is always kind of fun. But apart from that, video games. Mass Effect earlier today.
Oh yeah, the like remaster or whatever it's out, the Legendary Edition.
Yeah.
Is it as legendary as it is purported to be?
Well, like a lot of my experience was making a character, being happy with it, getting into the game, and then noticing that for some reason the like cheekbones and jaw and stuff, instead of like smooth, nice, were all just like straight angular lines, and I'm like, all right, well, I guess I can't play this character. Then you go back through it and you can't skip any of the cutscenes. It took like 20 hours, and I did it again, and it still was broken, so I just went with the standard one.
Let's go with the default, the default without
standard
customizing.
Female shepherd, because she's canon.
Good,
also cooler.
A good shepherd for sure.
Yeah.
I
don't think I ever finished 1 and 2. I finished 3, but I didn't.
Chat says Dave just making Mass Effect chads.
Accidentally, yeah. Mass Effect chads. That's pretty good.
I've been doing some art stuff myself, though. It's been miniature painting. I've been trying to trying to get back into like doing.
Oh, I thought women didn't do miniature painting.
Yeah, well, those people no, they do.
Did you see that ridiculousness?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Oh Lord.
I was like, I wanted to get into some stuff that wasn't like just like Warhammer stuff, because I've done a lot of like Games Workshop related stuff before, and I was thinking like, what if I just like started making a bunch of minis for the eventual D&D game that will happen at my place, you know, like sometime in the future. So like that's part of the project, you know, and the project is like have a variety of things that I could use if I were running a game, but not to conform to like a specific brand or a specific game necessarily that I'm like building for, because I always make these like 40K things and then I never play the game, like ever. You know, like I think
standard.
I've played like 2 games of a Warhammer thing ever, and I have so many miniatures, and it's just silly. So I'm going the single miniature route and buying things 3D printed off of Etsy, and it's been pretty successful so far. There's a little local Edmonton store that'll like has a license to 3D print a bunch of like designers' stuff and distribute the physical product. So.
Cool.
I've been just like pick and choosing a bunch of cool minis and painting them up and posting the results on Twitter. I felt like I've been flooding my Twitter with it, but you know what? It's my Twitter. Fuck it.
Yeah, you're meant to flood it.
Then chainmail retweets
Oh yeah,
from your partner. Very cool.
My partner's been working on getting a chainmail jewelry store set up over the last couple of weeks, and she's been working really hard on that. So every time she makes an update, I retweet it. She did a little bit on stream, like making some chainmail stuff during the week, which is cool. Yeah.
I reckon there's ASMR elements to making chainmail stuff, because it's all like clinky clanky metal.
I mean, it doesn't make as much noise as you think it would, to be honest. I mean, you need a pretty big microphone. I feel like one of those like really powerful ones.
Ones with the ears on it. You're supposed to just kind of like lick around.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've heard about these streams. I've definitely never been to one. That's
I'm
like
not ASMR experienced, so I couldn't tell you. But yeah, so that's been my week. It has been like painting 1 or 2 miniatures a night. Every time I get done with work. Get done with work, eat some dinner, sit down, paint some miniatures, continue with my evening. That's been my days. Feels pretty good.
Well, sounds like a standard job. Never thought I'd hear such a thing. Regular hours. I don't know what that's like.
Regular hours? What are those? Yeah. Okay, well.
I want to play Star Wars.
All right, let's do that. Let's do that then.
Star Wars.
We can do that. So to recap, our heroes found themselves exploring a ruined Star Destroyer on the back end of last session, which is the Sunderer, a crashed Star Destroyer that had crashed onto the planet like several, when I say several, I mean many years ago, during the Empire's like pullback from the system, during an insurrection by the now Fog Wardens, then Stim Troopers on board. The mutiny plus a bunch of damage to the ship through fighting, firepower, caused it to crash to the surface. They explored the depths of the Star Destroyer. They ran into some stuff along the way, including cordyceps mushroom-controlled stormtrooper corpses and giant hermit crab using an AT-ST as its shell in the hangar.
Nice.
What else? Some other cool stuff, you know. But eventually, they made their way to the sort of bridge area and the cabins for special guests and the captain and so forth. The captain's cabin was absolutely bombed out, like somebody had blown a thermal detonator inside or something. And they came across a like special guests cabin up near the bridge where they found the corpse of what looks to be some sort of like Sith person, some dark side person dressed all in black. There's a
robes.
presence of dread, you know, that feeling of awful, nauseating feeling of dread in the room, and the corpses of maybe like 20 stim troopers arrayed around this body, clearly having battled them sometime in the distant past. And that's where we were, and they'd found, or Xyle had noticed, I suppose, everybody probably had noticed, but Xyle had noticed specifically, that there was an amulet in the Sith person's hand, and that it conforms to a certain slot that they've seen before in the ruins of the ancient Vohdian city that they found. And Xyle was just reaching out to get it. And that's where we ended last session. Well, not exactly where we ended it. I said that the corpse then reaches out to grab your wrist, and that's where we ended it. So, you know, going back to that, okay. So,
Destiny?
Yeah, let's roll the important things before we get into the actual narrative of today's show, before I get ahead of myself.
Yeah, let's each of us roll 2 dark side points.
Hang on. Don't roll anything yet. I gotta clear the pool. I mean, you couldn't have made it better for me. I already had all 3 dark side points at the moment, so roll your destiny dice. Okay, a dark side. Okay, yeah.
Got you covered, Elf. Got you covered.
Got it.
I'll slip. You can slip me the 20 after
There
the show.
it is.
No!
There it is.
What the frack?
3
The
dark
Force was not with us.
3 dark side points for me.
Gosh darn it.
So I'll take those. Thank you very much. And I will roll our obligation roll. A reminder, it is 1 to 9 for Mabel, 10 to 19 for Omni, and 20 to 29 for Xyle. 25! Oh,
Perfect.
We've
Obligation
rolled-
to get killed by a Sith corpse.
We've rolled Xyle's obligation.
Feels bad.
This is the first time, so
Why
I'll
don't
take my
you
extra
remind
strain.
us? Why don't you remind us, Xyle, what your obligation is?
I have a criminal obligation because I fled from the Chiss Ascendancy and I am considered a fugitive by my government. Prior to fleeing, I was highly vocal about the isolationist and hierarchical structure of the Ascendancy and was starting to garner enough attention that my life was in danger.
All right. Well, there you go. On the run from the Chiss Ascendancy, criminal in their eyes, and that has been rolled. So to remind everybody what happens there, we've rolled an obligation, which means that Xyle has everybody has a strain cap of -1, so like your cap goes down by 1 for this session, and Xyle's goes down by 2, because it's their obligation. The other thing is that something regarding that obligation could show up during the session at some point. So, you know, keep your eyes out for a terrible Kiwi accent, I suppose.
Cannot be worse than mine.
You can do it, Elf.
I really
believe in you.
really can't do it.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, just I imagine that Thrawn does not have a Kiwi accent, probably a really, a really deep British one.
Yeah,
so.
you know that's gonna be a Benedict Cumberbatch style, like officious British accent, right?
All of the people who have British accents in Star Wars are evil.
Yeah.
It is known.
Just make them Australian, Elf. That's close enough to New Zealand.
G'day, mate. You blaster.
I'm from the Chiss Ascendancy.
Anyway, we were now that we have all that out of the way, we have our dark side points. I mean, we have our destiny points, aka my dark side points.
Jeez Louise.
And a corpse hand was just reaching out to grab you, Xyle, and you feel this sense of like dread and terror run down your spine, as if like you'd been touched by like there's like a cold air almost, like you the goosebumps on your skin sort of like raise up, and you can just feel like this unnatural sort of like fear of the unknown sort of vibe coming from this thing, as if it's not alive. Obviously it's not alive, it is a skeleton basically, but it's moving. And by the way, Mabel, Omni, you don't see anything happening to Xyle. They are just there reaching out, and they've stopped sort of like halfway. And in this instant, Xyle, you feel the surroundings around you like melt a little bit and shift, and the bodies behind you in your peripheral vision, all these like stim troopers or whatever, like sort of disappear as this like corpse is holding your arm. And the skin almost like starts to reform on this body within your vision. You can see like the fingers becoming like, you know, human fingers, and like moving up his arm, like the flesh starts coming back. The clothing sort of reasserts itself, you know, it like cleans and tidies from the blaster burns and everything. And eventually there is a human man, like a short, sort of youngish human man, like sitting there holding your arm with this expression of like malevolent intent on his face. The bodies around you are all gone. The cabin looks like it would if this were a functional Star Destroyer. It looks as if you are in his cabin alone with him. And everything has sort of like, Mabel's gone,Ami's gone, everything's faded from your periphery, but this, and this guy in this like black chair, basically. And he speaks, and he says, "This doesn't belong to you." Holding the amulet, like holding your arm.
Like, it doesn't belong to you either.
And yet, it's mine. I've taken it. Strong enough to take it. Are you?
I guess we'll have to see. But I'm not leaving it here with you. The planet wants it back.
He stands and lets go of your arm. And his movement is very it's like you're watching 3 or 4 copies of him move. Like the video is being played over itself as he sort of like fades from one spot to another. And he stands very imperiously in front of you and states, "If you're not leaving, then how do you propose you take it from me?"
Well, I mean, you're dead. What exactly can you do to stop me?
He like looks around as if the idea of him being dead is hilarious. And he says, "Even in death, power is power. Where do you think you are right now? What do you think is happening to you?"
Honestly, I'm not sure. Nothing like this has ever happened to me before.
How much time do you think is passing? You know, he's like looking around as if like asking you these questions, trying to like jog your thought process. You could be dead as well. Dead already.
Could be. But if power is power, as you say, pretty sure I don't have the power you have.
Very few possess the power that I have. Now, kneel, and I might let you leave.
It's funny. I don't kneel to anyone.
Shame. Well, I suppose I'll have to make you. And he's going to attack you. He raises his hand, and you feel a force throw you back against or try to throw you back against the wall. Let me do some things here.
Oh boy, y'all. This is bad.
It's real bad. Real bad.
Nah, this guy's probably a pushover.
We'll just use Montselder here.
Yeah, he
How
died
do
once.
I get this
but-
thing from him? Do I have my weapons? Do I have anything on me?
I mean, you're as you were.
Oh, then I have my baton.
So, but that wasn't the right roll. I'm rolling too many purples.
That is a lot of purples.
It's because I was using the character sheet rather than my dice rolling sheet. There we go. That's better. So
Don't like that stuff. No, thank you.
Oh, also I need to roll a force die. This is the first time I'm using force powers. Yay! Let's see here. Move this down. Move this down.
I'm very hot.
Oh, perfect. Wonderful. So he pushes you back, and you can feel the force of it against you as he like slams you back against the wall. And again, everything moves in this sort of like weird video overlaid like echo, as there's like dreamlike copies of everything that happens in like almost slow motion. And he steps forward as he does so, and says, "You'll never win just standing there. Assert yourself. Show me that you're strong enough to take it from me."
Sure. I'll try and whack him with my baton. I have my little.
You're just gonna
come
at him with a shock baton, okay?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Zyle's first instinct. Yeah, it's just like they don't know that there's any other option at this point. So
Yeah, of course.
I don't actually have the shock baton on my character sheet because I haven't put it there yet.
Okay, well, if you roll melee, it's the skill you need. So
Give me just a second. This should go well. You ready?
yeah, go ahead.
Cool.
A success, but many threats. Hang on.
So many threats.
Let me
Look at all that strain.
Let me look at my. No, it's not necessarily all strain. Let me look at my threat reference here. Okay. So you swing at him and it makes impact. You definitely hit him. As he like raises an arm to sort of shield himself from the impact. But you sort of like you feel the force of it, and then you sort of pass through him and you end up on the ground behind him, like fallen prone with the sort of like effort of like throwing the like force behind your swing. And he turns around and he sort of like shakes out his hand and says, "That's effort, but it's not the effort I'm looking for. Force of will, pathetic creature."
You really want to talk. I have to say this is starting to become tiresome. Force of will. Can you guys tell I didn't spend any time this week thinking about what I was going to do if this was the situation I ended up in, because I have no idea what I'm going to do. Okay. If that's the case, then I think like they still have their baton activated and they're kind of, I don't know, looking around for something that feels like something that they can kind of hold on to, because like this space is very much like his space, like his environment, kind of created to his sort of like strengths. And like, but this place is also being consumed by a planet that has its own energy. And I'm kind of looking for that here, not just with my eyes, but like trying to sort of feel whether or not there is any sort of like any of that energy.
Why don't you give me like a vigilance or something like that?
Okay.
By the way, those of you on the outside of this particular engagement, it's been a couple of seconds since I was just standing there with her with their hand out, like a little oddly. Okay, yeah. I mean, through a moment of concentration and sort of like making sure, looking around a little to try and figure this thing out, you can tell that this space isn't real. Like it's clear that it isn't like truly where you are, obviously. Like you haven't been transported somewhere. This man is not alive. And it occurs to you that his body is still in the chair.
Okay.
Like the skeleton, like it's like he got up from his own corpse. You know what I mean? Like the actual skeleton is still sitting in the chair.
Then I think I'm going to make a break for it to the chair.
He's gonna take an action first, just
Sure.
equitably. Equitably,
Of course,
he's got a turn.
But basically, it's like he goes, and as he's going, Xyle is.
Yeah, he's just gonna once again try and deal you some pain. Let me check my dice pool, make sure I don't have this in two places. Wonderful. Good. Okay, he doesn't actually succeed this time. So you feel that power, that like energy pulling at you to try and like keep you back as he sort of realizes what you're doing. But he can't all the way. There's just not an option for him. Like you managed to resist him. Yeah.
I escaped from an absolutely terrible place. I'm not going to let somebody trap me in another bad place. And yeah, Xyle kind of rushes towards the chair to try again to grab the amulet. Maybe punch the skeleton in the face too.
I was going to say, like, the amulet isn't present. Doesn't look like it's there, but the skeleton is there, sitting, vulnerable, available. You couldn't hit the image, but you might be able to hit the skeleton.
Yeah, I think I'll use the shock baton on that skeleton. See if I can't bust it up a bit.
Yeah, fair enough.
See how
Poor skeleton.
Let me set the dice
listen.
pool for
Motherfucker
you.
is dead.
Okay. A failure, unfortunately. So you rush
Lots of
towards
advantages though, so I'm going to clear a
lot
little
of
bit of strain here.
a lot of advantages, yeah.
I
Okay.
can clear one strain for every 2 advantages, correct?
You can only clear one strain once per thing.
Cool.
Just
Then I'll go ahead and just clear one. Cool.
just
Thank you.
but you also have the ability to like use that advantage to like immediately perform a maneuver, add bonuses to your next check, negate
Yeah.
environment penalties, like all this other stuff can be used as well. The
Cool.
other thing is
I've
like
got that reference up, so
okay. All right, cool. All right, so not this turn. You swing, but you swing like a little wild and like dink the chair, or like his force pull like keeps you back from the actual target by like an inch or two. And he's like, well, I can see that you're not going to learn, so let's end this quickly. And he raises his hands in Emperor Palpatine style, stance and tries to lightning you down.
do I still have enough movement to try and get behind the chair?
You can try and take cover for sure. It'll give you a circumstance bonus for sure.
I'd like to do that if that's possible.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, I didn't roll a force die. This is just for the force die. Oh, 2 light side. Lame. Okay, well, that's 1 success. So he can use the light side if he takes strain. I think that's how it works. I would have to check my reference. I'm not fully up on my force powers, I will admit. And he tries to blast you with this lightning, succeeding just by a small amount, and you take 4 damage. Feel free to soak that as necessary.
Cool. I think at 4 I soak. I only take 1 damage then. Cool.
Oh, wonderful. All right. Well,
soak of 3.
Stacking up the wounds anyway. That was a low roll. And he stalks towards you, trying to like get around the blockage.
We're gonna try and hit it again.
Yeah, bring it on. Let me
keep trying to
set the
hack
dice
at this
pool.
thing. Hopefully, get some successes here. I don't have the greatest fighting ability.
Okay.
Believe in you.
Dice pool is ready. Hey, a success!
Yay!
Wonderful. So you step out from behind the chair and you slam the baton against the skull and then the back of the chair, like through the skull, basically. And there's this horrible like crack shattering noise as it snaps. The vision sort of like swirls around you a little and like fades. And those of you on the outside, Omni and Mabel, just as you're sort of like maybe starting to get worried, the skull of the skeleton sitting in the chair just like cracks and crumbles with like a loud snapping noise. And Zyle seems to come to with like a blink, basically.
Don't touch it. Oh.
I didn't touch it. It touched me. You didn't see that?
Corpses don't move, Zyle. And Mabel like goes back to her, attending to all these dead stormtroopers.
Well, this one did. And yeah, that will go over and kind of look at the skull.
Yeah, it looks very much like you hit it with a baton.
Oh, weird. You really didn't see what just happened. I mean,
The
I guess
skull
that
just
makes...
exploded. It was really odd. I was kind of... I wasn't scared.
I was somewhere else for a second there. The two of you weren't even there. So I guess it shouldn't surprise me that you didn't see what happened. But, this guy's weird.
Well, I heard the stories about what kind of person that might have been, so... I don't know.
Well, we put up a bit of a fight, but I think I took care of him. And Zal's gonna take the amulet. Or at least try.
Sure, yeah. You reach out again to grab the amulet, and there's no spooky skeleton hand this time. You do not get waylaid. Touching the amulet and picking it up, you feel the dread, that like horrible, nauseating goosebump feeling, like evil, sort of dissipate, like as if you're taking a long breath, after having like exerted yourself a great deal. And you can feel this as well, Omni, and even Mabel, you feel like some amount of like relief, though I don't know how much of it, like the force influences you, probably very little. On the amulet, there is, it's like a circular stone disc, basically. The chain is unimportant. It is clearly like been added or changed over the years. The disc itself has an image of like 3 lines sort of vertically in a row, like almost like a Roman numeral 3, but without the like top or bottom like joining. And there's some Vohdian like language on it, on the other like side of it. You turn it around, there's some like upward, the Vohdian language goes from the bottom to the top. There's some of these like columns of writing, but it's not distinguishable. Obviously, you don't know what it says.
I think it's about time we returned you to where you belong. But I'm glad we found it. I wasn't sure if we would or not. Is there anything else that's important in this room aside from the soldiers?
Yeah, has anybody been looking around or like checking any, storage areas or?
Now that I've heroically recovered from absolute like snot dripping terror, I'll have a look around. I'll salvage some stuff. It's just like a surreal experience. Walk in, see this really scary thing, a scuttle explodes, and then everyone's just kind of like, all right, let's just take some
Okay,
stuff.
we're
Right? I'm
good,
scared. I didn't do this.
All right, so you take a little look around, and you find some hollow recordings, some recorded like hollow like discs, basically, where you'd keep these like hollow recordings on. But there's no functional player here. You'd need to like either use your data pad here and like look at them like 2D style, or you need to bring them to like a like a projector somewhere and like watch the recording. So you find several of those, and you also find like this guy's wardrobe, and it's just black on black, various ways.
Just the same black robe.
Yeah. But there's also a couple of credit chips. Or what look like credit chips anyway. There's about like 1,000 Imperial credits worth of credits on like one of the chips. The other one is corrupted. Yeah. There's also a blaster pistol sidearm, and a nice looking pair of combat boots that look like they go with this guy's wardrobe.
Combat boots?
I'm taking all of it.
Boots look good.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if you want to keep touching stuff of that spooky skeleton.
I don't know. I was thinking about like possibly figuring out a way to like move this skeleton somewhere where the planet could eat it up. I think they'd like that. The planet. I mean, this person did steal an artifact of theirs. Feels like just rewards.
Well, I'm sure neither of us are going to stop you. I'm going to keep just taking, useful stuff. But
pointedly, none of you have checked out the bridge yet. It's like on your way.
I'll go there. Yeah.
I'm still looting.
Yeah,
I got a bag of guns and some other stuff, and some credits. I've just been picking stuff up.
Yeah, just figure
Bridge implies piloty stuff. I'm about that, so.
I mean, it certainly implies place where ship is controlled from.
Oh, it still works. Whee!
I fly the Star Destroyer out of here. It's like in 5 pieces. Okay.
Take what I can.
So like this room, you basically got very little left in it that is of import. It's clear that like a big battle happened here. Same for like the captain's chamber. Clearly somebody, hucked one or several high-powered explosives into it on their way through. But making your way down the corridor a little to the bridge, you find a fairly grim scene, though it's very overgrown at this point. The front like window has been smashed open, and so like the air has been able to get in. And there's a bunch of like moss and fungi all overgrown over the consoles and everything. But there are a lot of bodies in here as well. Like they're all old and aged, and some of them are almost entirely decomposed. It's like clothing in dirt, But it's clear there was a battle here. There are bodies that could be counted as from both sides of this conflict if you're looking for like stim troopers. And a lot of like bridge personnel, like Navy officers and like gray uniformed individuals, black uniformed individuals, slumped over their consoles or like having gotten up and being blasted down or what have you, like these kinds of things. But the thing that catches your eye, Mabel, is that there is a holo recording playing on a twitchy sort of loop. As if it's like broken, but there's still like some power to the console or something, and it's just like jumping through this holo recording, and you recognize the face of the person like speaking on it as what name did I give him? Director Kadak Torag, your previous boss. And man of Imperial science.
You say that name for me again?
Yeah, Kadak Torag. C-A-D-A-K.
C-A-D-A-K?
Yeah, space, and then Torag, T-O-R-A-G. Rank of director, because that's like the non-military title. But then he possesses if you're looking in the database, he currently possesses, like, because you have like a list of these things, currently possesses the military rank of commander, which would put him in like charge of a base or a ship, or like it's that kind of a rank. It's like a little above captain for those of you who don't know your Navy ranks. But it's clear he was like giving some orders or like relaying some information when the ship was like going down. And this is just like a non-functional recording of him repeating the words like, make sure it doesn't fall, and then just clipping out and then going again. Like,
of course.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mabel walks over to this recording and just like very abruptly like just turns it off. Like she just doesn't want to see this dude. But then we'll start going through the system to try to get the complete message.
The
if she
complete
can.
recording, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to give me like a there's a computers roll for it?
Old acquaintance of yours.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'll absolutely boost you if needs be. I'm probably at a different terminal on the same like bank of things.
Well, as soon as one
away.
person starts, doing stuff, I imagine you're more than happy to jump in there. Let me get the dice pool set up for you.
Yeah, I think like
There.
as she's shutting it off, she just mutters something about how he has like an annoying voice or something. Like she's just like, "Oh, this is very irritating," and turns it off.
Would you like to describe him? Because we actually didn't come up with like a description for him. We just came up with a name. So feel free to like give us the appearance of your former boss. I'm like more than happy to hear it.
Yeah. What is he like? This jerk. I think he's probably like kind of tall and thin. He's got
So he's got that like sunken cheekbones thing going on a little bit. Like
yeah. Like he looks like he probably doesn't ever sleep enough or eat enough.
like the dark circles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's like a middle-aged black man with a bit of a beard that's got like some gray in it. It's very curly. But he's very like well groomed, if a little haggard looking despite that.
Yeah,
just
like-
because of like the bags under the eyes and the gaunt cheeks.
Put together, but a little drained. Is what you're
Yeah.
saying. Yeah.
And yeah, he probably like talks with his hands a lot, like he's trying to emphasize things.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like that. His uniform is the traditional sort of like gray, imperial gray with like the peaked cap that the Navy officers like wear. I imagine he likes to remind people that he doesn't just hold like a civilian rank. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's like Tarkin a little bit. Like he has like a governor rank, but also like a military rank. So
You
Just like
have
the
one of
military
those
stuff.
like chocolate bars of just random dots and dots and different
You know, like
colors.
those are the rank plates. The like
Yeah.
I know,
yeah.
but they're also
blue
just
and red
random
and
colors.
orange.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Unless like some nerd at some point is
I don't think they're random. I think they do have meaning, but I don't know it off the top of my head. Yeah.
I think he rocks the like capelet poncho thing
Yeah,
as
for
well.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of those guys.
Very high in his fashion sense. Respect.
Yeah, like he's like, I've got the whole uniform. I'm gonna wear the whole uniform like all the time. Like
Yeah.
he's dressed for like colder weather than it would be all the time. He's one of those kind of people. Yeah.
Well, the void of space is always cold.
No, exactly. And he's like probably just
And actually, it does look like from wherever he's like broadcasting from is definitely like he's wearing sort of even colder gear. You know? what
okay.
I
Yeah,
mean?
he's got like the winterized version of the uniform.
Yeah, exactly.
Sweet.
Okay. So there's that, and you want to try and get the whole recording off the computer. When you're good,
Yes, I do.
So it's a computer's check.
Sure.
You've got a boost die from Omni giving you a hand.
Yeah, and like normally I would say, yeah, Omni is better with computers. Let's get them to do it. But Mabel wants to do this surreptitiously for herself. So
You want to hear the recording first, yeah.
I don't get any successes. I get a bunch of strain clear.
You know what? That's a lot of advantage. I'm gonna give it to you anyway because that is a possible crit in terms of advantage.
I see.
Whether or not
Okay.
there were successes. So I'm just gonna fiat that one a little bit because I like the result of you getting it.
Well, shucks. Very
So-
kind of you.
You managed to download the entire recording. What I will say is that you don't manage to do it surreptitiously. Like the recording plays in like hyper rewind, like on the recorder as you're downloading it, and so like everybody knows you've taken it, and it takes longer, to do. because you got to like get through several layers of broken machinery to like really get it to work. So that's what I would say. It takes longer, but you do get it.
I think maybe also that it's like it's very obvious to everyone that this is something that like bothers Mabel and that she is upset about. Like, like that the other members of the group are like notice that
like your body
Mabel
language
is like
and stuff.
upset by this thing, trying to cover it up, trying to like sweep this under the rug. She's like, oh god, it won't stop, and she's like hitting buttons trying to get it to like stop broadcasting.
I imagine Mabel normally has taken a lot of time to sort of go for fluid movements to like help calm people, and this is just
yeah, she's like very rapidly hitting buttons to try to get it to like turn off and stuff. Yeah.
Mabel, do you need help? Are you all right?
And she like turns over her shoulder and snaps at Zyle and just says, "No, it's fine. It's fine." And the like
I'll take your word
the
for
chipmunky
it,
like high speed rewind voice like stops finally, and she just noticeably relaxes a little bit, unplugs her data pad. It's quite all right, thank you.
Good. You seemed a little bit stressed there for a second.
Well, not exactly full of wonderful memories, Star Destroyers. She like idly like scratches at her buffed out Imperial insignia on her shoulder.
I mean, it doesn't seem like a nice place so far. My experiences up until this moment have been pretty terrible, except for finally getting a hold of one of these. But otherwise, your impression of this place and Omni's impression of this place is giving me the idea that nobody really liked these guys.
Quite.
There's a serious understatement. And I'm liking them even less now. I mean, we got some stuff, but, I was hoping for like a...
I feel like there's tons of stuff you could rip out of the panels here in the bridge.
Just time, really. I can't salvage anything. I just want to pick it up off the floor. Find it in a nice Durasteel box and just... And there's all the captain's stuff.
Good things don't come easy. Gotta work for them sometimes.
Yeah, and I mean the bridge is like an absolute treasure trove of computer parts and like naval tech and like
I was gonna say, Dave, do we
stuff.
want to try to just like take the nav computer or something, some other like very important and sophisticated piece of tech from here?
Like the black box, basically.
Yeah, like there must be something like that, right? Elf?
There are several like operating, consoles that would give you valuable data or like important parts that could be used to upgrade like other stuff. Like Star Destroyers are at the pinnacle of naval technology when it comes to like Empire stuff generally.
Dial's starting to get a really good idea of exactly what kind of work Omni likes to do and what kind of work they don't like to do.
Well,
if you tell me what you want, I can tell you if it's doable, basically.
I think I remember being able to upgrade a nav computer because mine's only short range. It was never actually fitted to go anywhere. That was kind of on me. I would appreciate it. It doesn't look like it's particularly modular, but with a little bit of force, a little bit of one of these, and one of these, and I think one of these. Like, looks at what kind of screws they are. I was like, nope, one of these. All right. Yeah, nav thing would be really cool. Because that's like sort of the most feasible thing to grab in a small amount of time. It's not like I'm going to be able to grab, I don't know, a thruster upgrade.
Yeah, that would be more difficult. You'd have to be in a different part of the ship to do that. But a nav computer,
a much bigger ship.
Nav computer is doable. Though obviously the nav computer on a Star Destroyer or a capital ship in general is going to be different to the nav computer on a freighter of your sort. It is still possible to jury rig a connection between those things, and I mean that's what you do. So yeah, why don't you give me like a mechanics to prize the important parts out?
I love that one.
And I will help.
Okay.
Since I also have mechanics and everything.
Boost the die applied.
Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Nice.
Hey, a success. Wonderful. So it does take you a little while because you gotta like, unscrew a bunch of stuff and make sure there's no live wires running through what you're trying to like touch, and just generally messing with trying to set this thing aside on its own without breaking it. It probably takes you like an hour, maybe like an hour and a half to do. Like taking apart a computer, putting it back together.
May I clear a strain as well, please?
You may, yes.
9 out of 12.
Yeah, you may. Well, you voluntarily gave yourself all that strain upon seeing the
I did, and then I got frightened afterwards.
Yeah.
It seemed like a good idea at the time.
Cool. So you managed to get it out, and it's like you could carry this subsystem sort of like under your arm, like a computer tower sort of size of a thing. And it's fairly heavy. I mean, it's like got a bunch of delicate, dense components. But you can move with it. You probably have encumbrance while you got it with you, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I was already at cap, so
Yeah.
this is definitely slowing me down.
I just wanted to mention that it's like too big to be convenient. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like if the crab comes again, it will be a bad time.
That would be bad for you, yeah. The crab clearly couldn't get into the small hallways, so you're okay there.
Actually.
See, and it's a funny thing too, because one of the reasons why the Empire couldn't make any more Star Destroyers is because people were using these for Bitcoin mining.
Yes, nav computer Bitcoin mining, of course, yeah. They couldn't get their hands on any more nav computers because the bots kept buying them all. Yeah.
Gross.
Rough. Bad times. So yeah, I think that's what you find on the bridge. Other than like, some various like officers' sidearms and, like really manky looking uniforms and so forth. Like you could grab that stuff if you wanted, but it's more like grave robbing at this point. That's as much of the Sunderer as you think there is to like look through. There may be other places to go and other stuff to like find. And I do have some other sections if you want to do like further Sunderer exploring, but like the bridge is sort of the pinnacle of valuable stuff you could find, and the cabins are sort of the pinnacle of interesting, valuable stuff.
I don't think I can carry any more stuff. Like I'm encumbered, and I probably have to ask Mabel to take the handfuls of like blaster carbines
like blaster
that I stole.
rifles,
Yeah. I don't know. Is it stealing?
I mean, it's salvaging, so I mean, I think it depends on your. The Jawas certainly wouldn't call it stealing. I can tell you that much.
No.
It's a noble tradition for them.
However, the Empire might call it stealing. It's one of those things,
Yeah, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
Send another Star Destroyer here?
Yeah. Oh, well.
That's not my obligation, all right? I can't roll that. Yeah, I don't know about the rest of you, but I feel like we got the cool lore thing, a cool spaceship thing, some credits type things, Mabel's holo recording.
You also know that Utico is like on their way. Like
That's true.
Like you did get the Fog Wardens to slow them down, but there are a lot more Utico employees than there are Fog Wardens, just like generally.
I think that we could possibly see if there's anything else to grab on the way out. But unless we have any pressing need for anything specific, I mean, I know you're looking for parts for your ship. Do you have the things that you wanted to get from this place? Did you have a shopping list? Is there anything else that we could possibly try and pick up?
Yeah, I will say at this point, like, if there's anything you're like, I wish I could find this on the Star Destroyer, then like I'm happy to try and make things, like.
Yeah, it's it's tricky because just taking the stuff for ship upgrades are multiple thousands of credits worth.
Correct. Yeah.
So I feel like grabbing this and then maybe saying I have extra bits of salvage to try another repair roll
Mm-hmm.
and that sort of stuff would be reasonable.
Yeah,
so I'm not getting like 20,000 credits worth of just like,
no, that's fine.
Way!
And I really appreciate like that we work together on things like that. You know, like my measure of the balance is not quite there. This is the first time I've run this game, so
yeah, for sure. I was looking at it before because I was looking at for upgrading the speeder bike, the land speeder. There isn't much for vehicles actually. Weirdly, if I can put this on my space chip, which I need to name at some point.
Yeah, you do need to name it. You know, there's a great name. It's the title of this show. You know, if you're feeling good, but you know, that's just I'm just saying.
Elf is rather partial to it, as you might have guessed.
Okay. Yep. All right. I think I tracked all the stuff we got.
Wonderful. So do you want to take the same route back through the Sunderer? Like, are you gonna like backtrack, or are you planning to like go a different way?
Well, you said that there was like open window essentially here, right? Like that
there
we could
is.
get
Yeah, you could climb.
outside
You
of
could climb out here. Yeah.
So we could make our way out a different route if we wanted.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
I was going to ask if there was some sort of like layout on the bridge that kind of gives us an idea of like what the different spaces are within the ship. Like if there's some sort of like readout somewhere that could tell us, you know, if there's anything we haven't seen yet.
So the only place that you think you haven't seen on this particular like section of the ship that is like broken off from the rest of it, right? Like there are smaller chunks of the Sunderer scattered around. The only part you think you haven't seen is like sort of mess hall, like barracks kind of areas for like the resident troopers, as well as like for the various naval officers and so forth. Like the sort of dormitories and the like private personal spaces are really the only part you think you haven't passed through.
I mean, I don't know if it's worth it to any of you. There could be stuff there that's interesting, like information. Maybe some of the fog wardens left stuff behind that they wouldn't mind getting back. Who knows? Or it could be a bust and there's nothing important there, but...
Well, we're always making that tricky decision of whether it's going to be worth the time. Picking through individual barracks rooms is going to be a slow process, but...
Well, I wasn't exactly thinking of picking through per se, but, you know, shining the light in, seeing if anything looks
Somebody
interesting.
want to make a perception roll for me?
No.
I can. I will.
Okay, I'm assuming somebody is going to help you as well. That's usually how we do this.
Yeah, Mabel can help.
Well, thank you. Ready?
Yep. Hey, a success.
Woohoo.
Out the broken window of this like bridge that they're currently standing on while you're like talking, you can hear the sound of like raised voices at a distance, and you can hear the sound that like the very faint but unmistakable noise of like blaster fire like from outside somewhere.
Well, that might be our cue to just bond from this place. Can you hear that? Because I think we have company.
Once it's quiet and Zyle like points it out, you can definitely hear the sound of like really distant yelling, you know, and like the sound of blasters being fired.
I think our wardens are making some noise.
Yep, back to the speeder. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, I don't want us to get caught.
Okay, wait,
Thanks.
so you headed back the same way you came then, just like trying to like backtrack through the passages you've already
Yeah.
been through?
Yeah, because if we climb out and we don't find a good way back,
You'll be
then
pretty
we'll get to
exposed. You'll be
our
pretty exposed
speeder,
up there.
and we'll
Yeah.
be like, no. We just
Okay.
got here.
So you make your way back through the tunnels. I'm not gonna like roll anything for this because Mabel was recording the whole way basically, if I remember correctly.
That is correct.
So you make your way back through the tunnels and towards the exit, and you can hear the sounds of like combat basically getting louder as you make your way back through to like the first section you came through, which is the dark tunnels with like the weird lizards in it and the slime slipper nests. And you can hear the sound of like Jawas talking loudly and like the sound of ion weapons being fired like closer by, and you can hear like I said, like the sounds of sort of approaching violence as you get closer to the exit.
Ooh, I hope Mozart's okay. He's my best salvage dealer.
Well, I think that the Jawa are pretty capable of taking care of themselves from what I've seen. We're the ones that we need to worry about right now. Help yourself before helping others. You know all that.
Yeah, you're aware that emerging from the Sunderer, you're gonna be basically like behind the Jawa's like defensive line, quote unquote, because they've got like, if they're fighting something at a distance, they've got like vehicles parked around here that they use to, open the hole in the hull and like that kind of stuff. So like you'll be emerging into direct line of sight basically as you exit, unless you want to be sneaky about it.
Sneaky sounds good. Sneaky sounds real good.
Well, and our speeder is parked outside, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we have to go regardless, or we're gonna be stuck in here for a while.
Yeah, Mabel is carrying all of these blaster carbines that Omni gave her, right? So she
Yeah.
just, I think, like pulls one out and like checks if it will power on and works.
Looks it over, yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then
it looks
hands
like-
it to Xyle.
Looks like it has charge. If you need the blaster carbine profile to add to your sheet, it is in the weapon reference.
And she'll just say to Xyle, if it comes to it and we need to fight our way out, you might want this.
All right. Thanks. I appreciate it. I do have my shark baton. I really like it. It's
Wait.
kind of
I think I've got something that might let me just check in a pocket and use my special move.
Yeah, your find an item special move, yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to find like a flash grenade or something like that.
Is it rare below rarity 4?
Stun grenade.
I gave you some grenades. I feel like you got some in the armory.
Yeah, I don't know if those were stuns or like actual. So I wouldn't
No,
throw a frag grenade.
They're actual explosives, yeah.
Yeah. Rarity 4 stun grenades.
Rarity 4? Yeah, sure. I know there's a value limit on it as well, like of like 1,000 or less or something like that, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, you can find
75.
You can find a stun grenade. Yes.
All right, sweet. All right. Well,
Do you-
if
do
we're
you-
going to do this.
Dave, do you have the profile for a stun grenade? Because I don't have that like in front of me right now.
Yeah, it's on the thing, so I've got it.
Okay, cool. Just so you know what you're doing. You know what I mean? I can't direct you.
Yes. I don't know what the weapon qualities are specifically, the special parts.
Oh, you can
but-
just tell me what that is when we get there. It's fine.
Okay. Yeah. So I'd probably give it to Mabel to like chuck out.
Okay.
Like hopefully this could buy us some time. We all might try and escape. I only got the one though.
You will warn the Jawas for me, won't you, before I throw it? As she's like looking at it, like turning it over in her hand.
Oh, absolutely. The Jawa word for duck and cover is the same as for hello. The quirk of the. Never mind.
Yeah, and her little like eye reticles like narrow.
Right, everybody, get ready. I grab the thing and I.
All right, so you're around the
Stretch my legs.
hole that will lead out into danger. If you peek around, I'm sure one of you has.
Yeah, Mabel like looks out.
You can see that there are like 6 or 7 Unico vehicles like arrayed at a distance, like because there's this big clearing that leads up to this like Star Destroyer, right? Arrayed near the sort of foresty edge. And the employees are using the vehicles as sort of cover or as like places to shoot from. Some of them are using like mounted weapons on the actual vehicles, like heavier duty stuff like E-webs, which is like the big, that like big mounted laser they try and shoot the Millennium Falcon with. Yeah, that thing. You can see among them, there are a lot of droids, Mabel. Like, a lot of droids that you recognize, like Imperial droids. And the Jawas are fighting back with, like, ion weaponry and, like, their typical maneuvers. There are some scorch marks on the ground where they've clearly tried to, like, throw explosives or, detonate various things, but the distance is, like, a little far. To throw this grenade for it to be effective against, like, the enemies you're aiming at, you're gonna have to throw it pretty far.
Well, I believe in you, and I think we got some light side back when you used the dark side abilities. Is that how that works?
I didn't use any dark side points. No, I was just rolling. I was just rolling dark side for his force powers, not the destiny. Yeah.
Elf just cheating, just big cheater.
No.
We ain't got that. We'll get that one day.
Whatever.
So
what y'all don't realize is that Mabel played on her corporate softball team.
Yeah.
In the old Imperial days.
Wind it up. Hang on. Let me set the dice pool for you.
I mean, I'll give it a shot. May as well.
Yeah. All right. And I'll give you a boost die because the Jawas are kind of covering you.
Oh, great.
Indiscriminately. But it is a tough roll. It's a tough roll.
Just ranged light? Is that what this counts as?
I think it's ranged light. I would also say you could use like brawn to throw, but I think it's ranged light.
Yeah, that's the skill. It's on the.
All right. Well, I have 1 die in this because Mabel's actually rubbish. I have agility 1.
Wait, so I will be better at this than you? Okay.
Yeah, you would, but and we can rewind and you can throw it. That's fine. I'm not upset.
I don't know if I want to throw a grenade.
You see Mabel get ready to throw this thing, and
it doesn't look like she's gonna
immediately
throw it
your
great.
heart sinks. Yeah, you're just like, I don't know if her arm can like do the motion correctly.
Mabel is a big robot, but not a big robot for throwing stuff.
Yeah.
Right. No, give it to me.
Yeah, she's got like a weird stance and like is gonna do some big underhanded lob thing that is just not gonna work.
Why don't you take one of the blasters and do some of the covering fire, and I'll try and scramble up and give it a chuck.
Of course, and she like primes a blaster carbine and starts just like firing.
There is military efficiency to Mabel's immediate like loading of the carbine in like a very like every Imperial droid has some knowledge.
Her hands
of
just
this.
kind of do it. Yeah.
By the way, when you offered Zyle one of the blaster carbines, they didn't take it because they just pointed to the slug thrower on their back and pulled it off and just got set up.
Fair enough.
Oh, slug thrower.
Stick to your own guns.
I feel you. Go with what you know. You're
not gonna shame me for liking my slug thrower. You're not.
It's a good gun. It's not a good gun, but it's.
I'm not talking about you, Mabel. I'm talking about your fish face over there, or mixed fish face over there.
All right, are we throwing this grenade or what?
Yes. Range light.
I'm ready.
Hooah!
Oh my god, it's a success!
It's a success!
So you throw this. You bust out of the. You gotta run a couple of feet out of the, out of the breach to be able to get it far enough. So you sort of run out and throw, and the Jawas to the side of you, like, you know, you call out the.
Yeah, I
call out
shout to duck.
the Jawa word for duck and cover. And they all cover their eyes, and you get this stun grenade out there. And it lands pretty close to like a bunch of the vehicles and goes off, and you can see it affecting a bunch of the Yutiko guys like immediately. What's the actual effect, Omni, on what are the traits on the stun grenade?
Yeah, disorient 3, stun damage, blast 8, and limited ammo.
Okay, so like it's clear that they take a fair amount of like damage, but stun damage is damage to strain, basically. So they some of them sort of reel away, and disorient means that they're gonna have like circumstantial penalties on doing a whole bunch of things. So for a little while, what was the range on it? Like the width on it, you know?
8, blast 8.
I'll blast 8.
Pretty big, hopefully.
I gotta check blast. I'm trying to think if that would be like, it's probably fine. We'll just go with it. I'll look up the actual rules later.
Qualities. Hold on.
I wasn't planning on grenades today. Oh, did I?
Oh, it's not the size; it's the amount of damage.
Oh, okay. Well, either way,
They take 8 strain.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty. A bunch of them are like relatively close to unconscious. And the thing about minions is that when they take strain, they actually take damage. Because minion style NPCs don't have strain; they only have damage.
Don't tell me Omni Brogbo's killed someone, because I'll cry again.
No, it still wouldn't kill them, but like narratively, they don't take strain. You know what I mean?
Got you mechanically, yeah.
Yeah, they just get knocked out permanently for the purposes of the game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they get those little like swizzly things above their head.
Exactly.
with, like,
Yeah.
the star in their eyes.
As soon as this happens, the Jawas like try and seize the initiative and like start shooting, you know, at a distance. But there are a lot of Yutiko goons here, like, and there are a couple who look like they're, you know, in charge or, you know, strong enough to resist. Yeah.
We should get out of here.
Yeah, and I yell whatever it is to like try and run while they're reeling. And we've like motioned to Zyle to like start the engine kind of thing as we're chucking it up and over.
Okay, yeah, you're just like running for the speeder.
Yeah, we go get out of there. I mean, Boysuck would do the same.
Could you guys give me stealth rolls, please? Or athletics, depending on your preference. Because like you're gonna be out of cover trying to get to the, trying to get to the.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
the same.
It's athletics for me.
Yeah, stealth or athletic. Oh, I've got the dice roller wrong. Hang on. Redo.
Let's do that again, because I rolled bumped.
Yeah, hit it again. Those of you who rolled just now, hit it again.
Oh, good. My roll is even worse. Thanks, Elf.
All right, that's fine. Yeah.
Mine's good.
Okay, so Zyle makes it there under cover of the stun grenade, but the other two of you are a little bit less fortunate, and you're both gonna take shots against you as you like run across the field. So I'm just gonna take like blaster shots against you, basically.
Shots.
We're gonna give them a penalty.
Everything is absolutely going according to plan. Nothing is wrong. This is what we expected.
Oh no,
And,
Elf, why?
everything's going to be
So
fine.
Mabel, you're missed entirely as the blaster rifle bolts like fly past, but unfortunately, I managed to get a triumph against Omni, which means that one of the carbines does indeed hit you. Let me look at the damage on blaster carbines. These are weapon qualities. That's not what I'm looking for.
The damage is 9.
The damage is
Critical
9,
3.
and the critical is 3, and it's a triumph, so I get a critical, which means I get to roll a critical effect.
Rip.
It's not rip, don't worry. Oh, 2. I think that might be nothing. 2 is a minor nick. You'd suffer 1 strain as well as 9 damage.
9 damage, and I soaked 2 of it.
Wait, is your brawn not at least 2?
My brawn is 2.
Oh, but
I don't have any armor.
You don't have any armor? Oof.
I was going to, but it turns out like all my toolkits and the slicing gear is really heavy. I
Yeah.
had to mod one of them so I could carry it.
So you take 9 damage minus 2, yeah, from the blaster bolt.
And the strain.
And 1 strain, yeah, and 1 additional strain, yes.
Wow. Feels bad. Oof.
I also got a threat on you, so you take another strain.
Alright, 2 strain and I'm out, everyone. 2 strain and I'm out.
Wait till we get to the car.
I can't imagine your wound threshold is looking particularly good either.
Nah, I got 5 of those.
Oh, that's not too bad. So yeah, you take a winging not a winging. It hits you direct on as you stumble across the field.
Oh, me.
But you do make it to the car.
I've never been shot before. It hurts so much. Help me.
Oh,
Yeah, and Mabel just like scoops you up with a big robot arm and just says, "Oh, be quiet."
I didn't know we were traveling with a big fish baby.
Oh God, sure.
Are you kicking it into gear,
Look
Zyle?
quite a ghost.
Are you?
Yes, I am turning on the speeder and getting it ready to go. And if I can, since it looks like my compatriots are struggling to get to me, maybe I can meet them in the middle.
No, they both make it too. They just take
Oh,
shots as
okay.
they're coming across the field, basically.
Yeah, let's get the F out of here.
Okay. So in a vehicle, you blast away. Normally in this situation, I would have some vehicles follow you, like, other Utico guys getting in their vehicles and running off. But the stun grenade was a pretty effective move, and I think that's going to be mostly what it negated. Available.
Nobody's gonna try and follow us.
Available drivers, but you get out of there as quickly as possible. Do you want to give me a land piloting, Zyle?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let me just
Planetary
set
I'd love to
piloting.
help you, but I'm crying about getting shot.
No,
You're
instead-
absolutely- it's completely understandable.
While Zyle is piloting, Mabel is in the back seat trying to patch Omni up.
Hey, I've been doing really well.
Yeah, you pilot planetarily well out of there.
Yeah, today, despite all,
And it
dark side
seems,
points,
Zyle,
you're doing really well.
You have the amulet with you, right, Zyle? Like, you haven't given it to anybody else. It's on you.
Nope,
right?
it's all
Okay.
all over here. I got it.
It seems like it's much easier to move through the jungle than it was like previously. Like, getting here was difficult, but like moving the other way, it seems as if it almost helps you.
I received a blessing from the planet.
Yeah. So where are you headed?
I don't think it's a good idea to head straight back to the to town, Devonian City. It might actually be a good idea to like take the long way around and sort of zigzag through and make sure we're not being followed, or because even though the stun grenade happened and we're likely not being followed, I don't
There
want
are
to
other
like,
vehicles out here.
yeah. I don't want to necessarily bring any attention to us, and I'm flying casual but evasively at the same time.
Flying.
Yeah,
flying
you
casual.
mentioned wanting to go to the Frog Wardens on the way back, as well as speaking to them on the way there.
Yeah, perhaps to either drop off this amulet or to at least let them know I have it, and to meet us at the ruins at some point, see what it does. But yeah. But
Should
the
do
Fog
that.
Wardens
Lay
are
there
currently
for a while.
occupied, yeah?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you can't meet up with them. You know what I mean? Like, the Utico has like clearly gotten through whatever it is that they planned, like, to a certain degree.
All right, well then I guess we'll see if we can't figure out how to connect with the Fog Wardens.
Okay, yeah. Heading back the way you came, like back towards where you were pretty sure the like camp is. You got a good piloting check, so I'm not gonna roll. We're not gonna roll survival on it this time. you do see like some Fog Warden action, like some results of their ambushes on the way through, like downed speeders and like other such like wreckage on the way back. And make your way back to like where their camp was. And it seems like they're almost waiting for you. There's like a guard of about 3 of them that see your like speeder pulling up and sort of wave you down. And like gesture for you, like beckon to you to like follow them.
I do.
Okay. Are you like getting out of the speeder or?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. On foot.
Turn it off. Power it down.
Mabel, can you carry me?
Oh my god. What a child. What a child.
Yeah, and she kind of like frowns and she says, yeah, of course, and like lifts you up with like an arm under the shoulder, like gets one of your arms.
Oh, you could pick me up. I'm 4'2".
Oh, actually, yeah. So she just like
I'm
carries you
tiny.
like you're a baby. She's
All
still
right.
a very large baby.
Grabs Omni and carries Omni along. You hop out of the speeder and follow the Fog Wardens back to like where they've gathered. It's not the same camp as before. It's clearly like a less set up sort of staging area. But a bunch of them are there along with Panakata. Some of them look like they've, been fighting recently, or, there's a new scorch mark on like a, shoulder armor, or like on a, like some of them have been in combat just recently.
Mm-hmm.
But Panakata is there and she says, did you find it? I
did.
And before you actually reply, she's like, I think you have it, right? Like, as if she just kind of, like, knows.
Well, I'd better after what I had to go through to get it.
Well, good. I'm not sure exactly what its purpose is, but do you show it to her at all, or is it just like, I'm not sure exactly what its purpose is, but it's important.
I think I know where it's meant to go.
She nods like she has some idea as well.
And I'm in the same boat as you. That being said, I did give a little bit more information about the language. Not a lot of detail, but we put somebody on research about the native Vohdians and like how they communicated, things about their culture, whatever we could kind of glean from the recording and footage we got when we were down there. And Azal kind of explains to Panakata like the information that the doctor gave them and
okay,
sort of their theories on that.
She says, well, then I think we should bring it where it needs to go, surely.
I think you're probably right. We also got some pretty neat stuff out of that place. I mean,
anything
anything
of particular interest? Did you like leave stuff in the speeder? I would assume so.
Yeah. Some weapons, a few other things.
Always useful. It seems like Yutiko is
They're gonna gut that place.
Stirred up. Yes. Hopefully those you're with made it out, but we couldn't hold them on. We couldn't hold them off forever. Too many.
I threw a grenade.
She looks.
Then I got shot.
She looks at you, currently held in Babel's arms, like a baby, talking about throwing a grenade. There's a moment of silence as she looks at you, and then just looks back to Zyle, like, okay.
There were a few people dressed like you, but they were dead and being controlled by the mushrooms. At least that's what it appeared to be. They were moving all jerky, like we didn't kill them or anything. They were just sort of wandering around in one of the rooms.
Doesn't surprise me. There's a great many species of mushroom that I know nothing about, and if the leech blooms can move people, then there's probably more of a similar quality.
And then there was also this giant crab that was like using an ATST as a shell. That was really cool.
Yes.
It's really neat.
The gargantuan crabs. Not usually around on this side of the hemisphere, but I suppose in the right conditions.
I guess that one's become a bit of a guardian for the ship.
Guardian, more like it found a place to nest up, nice and comfy.
But other than that, there was I found this in the hands of a skeleton, wearing dark robes,
I know the one.
and the captain's quarters had been blown out. Guessing that was your work.
Yeah, one of ours. It was a group operation. Only some of us made it out, like I said.
Wait, there was a skeleton of one of those guys, and you didn't tell us on the way?
I didn't think the dead were of much consequence.
He put up a fight.
Really?
Yeah, it was a little bit creepy. Can't really explain it, but it's like the whole world fell away for a moment, and it was just the two of us, and he was alive in a hole, and he told me I wasn't strong enough to take it from him.
Well,
I crushed his skull and proved him wrong, but
to come out of any conflict with a servant of the Emperor in one piece is something to speak about, no matter how small.
no, I feel like I got thrown up against the wall.
They've been known to have all kinds of abilities.
You look like you want to say something, Mabel.
I imagine that this was a hallucination. I checked their vitals afterwards, and they were very experiencing a great deal of anxiety.
I wish that my body agreed with your assessment. I mean, my shoulder is killing me. But okay.
Me too. I got shot.
Oh my. Okay.
I'm
Anyways,
starting to feel, I think those stimmers are kicking it.
anyway, we have room for one more in our speeder if you want to come with us to the ruins.
You headed there now?
Might as well. I don't think we have any other plans aside from patching Omni up and maybe getting some of this gear home, but we can do that later.
All right.
I mean, not the patching Omni up. We should do that sooner rather than later. But the dropping off of our stuff, that can happen anytime.
She hands a comlink off to like somebody, one of the fog wardens next to her, who takes it, and she says, "Only in emergencies. Don't use it. Don't use it unless you have to. I leave things in your capable hands, Sergeant, and I will return shortly." And sort
Can
of
you survive a little bit longer on this road trip, Omni?
Yeah, just don't get got by the plot, people.
Panakata like reaches forward and gives Omni a little like face slap, and says, "In your line of work, I'm not surprised, or I'm surprised you haven't been shot at before. Consider it a badge of honor. Everyone gets one eventually."
Oh, I did always want one. But they only gave them to people on the ship who didn't touch all the things that I wanted to touch.
And on that note, we're going to take our break. See you guys in a minute. We'll be back in just a couple minutes after a brief break. Headed to the ruins. See you there. All right. Hello, everyone, and we're back with another section of our wonderful Star Wars Desperate Gamble show. So, you and your group and Panakata, you want to head to the ruins. That's what I'm hearing. My thought would be about the oxygen, but I don't really want to limit this right now, so I'm not going to make a big deal out of it today.
We do have 24 hours worth of it.
You do, but you've spent a lot of time with the Sunderer. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you have been doing nothing. But I'm not going to make a big deal out of it today because we got stuff to do. So, you make your way through the fungal jungle towards the ruins. And like I said before, it's like way easier to navigate. through this jungle than it was like getting to the Sunderer, as if the planet has acknowledged your, what you have in your possession or whatever. Like things seem to move out of your way to a certain extent. It's not noticeable, but it's like this subtle difference in traversal that just seems like, the wind is always at your back. There's just like just circumstantially good setup for you. And you make your way back to the Force Ruins. It's been a while since you've been here. And the place looks as sort of regularly traveled as ever. There are footpaths that lead up to the like giant mushroom cap. I have art. It's one of the only places. Hang on, like art of this, like this. There we go. There's like a path that leads up to the giant broken off like mushroom.
Oh shit!
What?
The 3. There he is.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh!
It's like I planned it from the beginning. Whoa.
Oh, God, I fucking love this show. Just love that.
I'm it makes my
I'm
heart
so privileged.
It makes my heart warm to hear it, Dave.
We broke through that cold exterior.
Yeah. Well, I try and maintain a certain persona. But so you make your way back there and like there's the path that leads up to this little like shrine area, but there's also the way that you've been getting in previously, which is that like hole in the roof of one of the rooms. Once again grown over and hidden from plain view. What's the plan, friends?
We've got the special entrance winch doodad, which I'm always happy to showcase how.
It's true.
Especially when we got new friends, I want to show them how helpful I am.
Okay, so we're gonna take the regular route.
Yeah, the other entrance we found was the main one, right?
But it was like very rubbled over, yeah, like collapsed.
Yeah.
Plus, it's a chance to. I know that Panagata has already seen them, but it's kind of an opportunity to sort of look at the actual kind of temple-ish looking area together. So, I mean, I'm assuming she's seen it. She did set a trap for us, so.
Yeah, I mean, she's connected to the planet in a way that is mysterious and strange. But so yeah, you can make your way to you like wipe off some moss and like separate the hole again, where you sort of like go down into the spooky open chamber with the many sort of depictions on the wall. Now a lot less mysterious than it once was. There's a slight demystification of like, now I know what this is. It's like Vohdian writing. It's like images of like like stories or like you've seen a lot of this at this point. Like it a little bit more. There's a sort of like dread. The dread of the place is gone. But you can feel that presence again, Zyle. The sort of the presence that like pushed on your mind when you arrived here, for the second time and the first time in fact as well. Sort of do the same thing, like probe as to whether or not like you can be influenced, But there isn't like forcefulness to it this time. It's just like a sort of an acknowledgement more than anything.
I think that Zyle in this case now having a little bit more familiarity with what that might possibly be after some interactions with Panagata is a little less resistant to it. Is actually kind of actively seeking the feeling out as opposed to shutting it down.
It's a warm sort of feeling, like a natural, like you hear the sound of like many voices in your mind. None of them are like distinct or can be picked out or even in a language you necessarily understand. It is just like the echo of like intent, like within your space. Panakata obviously like has a similar feeling or is like going through something similar. She's taken off her helmet, and is sort of like looking around the place as if taking it all in. She's clearly been here before. She's not, like wondering over it all, but it's clear that it is important to her or in some way impacts her to like see this stuff. Like it's obvious to Mabel, who's like a master of reading the facial expressions of humans for pain or emotion, that she it's like entering a sacred temple, like she like cares about this place a lot. And you have the stone door in front of you. It's closed again, though it was open the last time you were here. You left it open, basically.
Your work, I'm guessing? Or somebody from your group?
Of course. You leave the door open, anybody can get in.
Including the mushrooms. Though they seem to kind of avoid this place, or at least not overgrow it.
Why would they grow over what already belongs to them?
That is absolutely fair. But, yeah, I guess we should try and reopen them.
Here you go, Mabel. Here's the
pry bar.
Yep. Yeah, we'll do the usual.
So begins
routine.
the pry bar routine, yeah.
I imagine, however, there's probably a different solution.
Is there any other way to open them other than this pry bar, you suppose?
Panakata sort of shakes her head like, not that I've found.
Well, there you go.
Magic amulet. Maybe you just touch the amulet on it.
I don't know that it works that way, but I mean,
it might. I'm not sure.
Magic amulet against the door.
It doesn't open. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
You get the definitive sound of stone clacking against stone and nothing happening.
But I mean, it was a good shout. A good shout. I have a feeling this thing. I mean, you supplied the pry bar. I think that's doing something.
Coming up with good ideas. That's me, Omni Brogbo.
Are you starting to feel a little bit better? Have you had any water? Maybe you need water.
Yeah, everything's okay.
Can I just quickly do my medical check for poor Omni here to heal them up?
Of course.
This is something I should have done earlier, but I just forgot.
Yeah, so you have a skill that allows you to heal wounds through the medicine check, right?
Yeah. So I have Surgeon. So when I make a medicine check to help a character heal wounds, the target heals 1 additional wound per rank of Surgeon. And I have 2 ranks of Surgeon.
Wonderful.
So I will use medicine, and I also can use a stim pack, right?
Yep.
Okay, well, we'll do both. But let's see how I roll here.
Oh, hella good. It's like...
Okay, yeah, no problem.
Yeah, so that would be like 5 HP back for Omni, because it's like per success plus 2, I guess, on the medicine check, because it's like...
So 4, right? 2 for Surgeon and 2 for the successes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess I don't even need to use a stim pack on you. I just patch you up.
And then Triumph, I'm not sure what it would do in this circumstance, but you can do things with Triumphs.
Yeah, presumably.
You could give it, you could give advantage, I think, to like the next, or like you could upgrade the next roll the party makes or something like that, or reduce the next roll the enemy makes. Or do something vital.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, I was looking at the wrong roll. Yeah, that's 3 with a Triumph. Jeez. How am I so good at this?
What a good question.
It's almost as if you built your character to be good at this specific thing.
Yeah, you're rolling the skill you're actually good at.
As opposed to me, who kind of spread myself out over a bunch of different things.
So you could choose that, like the next roll the party.
I'll make the next check be boosted.
Okay, cool.
Or bumped up.
I'll make a note. All right, so you give Omni the once over and like jab them.
Yeah, I've given them
jab them with a needle or something. Like,
there's some bandages and some fancy high tech like cauterizing thing.
There's some nice ointment you put under my gills.
No, it's not
that helps
nice.
me breathe.
It's not nice. It's
I don't
pretty.
imagine Mabel's medical expertise being particularly like bedside mannery, you know?
And it's also like this is in like field combat medicine mode, and so
Yeah.
it's just like cool. You are immediately patched up and functional, and it hurts.
Give you the sweet
Very
give you the
perfunctory.
sweet
Yeah.
adrenaline shot, you know, to get you on your feet, that kind of fun stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right, let's see if there's any plot people to fight. Come on, let's
We're not
go.
gonna fight them.
Yeah, take all their stuff.
We're not gonna do that either. We're here to
Panakata
learn about them.
Panakata looks at you like she's seen delirious soldiers before, you know, like
Yeah. And Mabel just mutters something about like not having the formulation right for Moncals.
Yeah. So you pry bar open the door, I assume, Mabel, after you're done here. And it's that
Yes,
same
yes.
it's that same hallway. Nothing has changed. There's a little less dust on the floor because it's clear like some of Panakata's squad have been through here, you know, recently, checking things out, making sure you didn't disturb anything in particular. The same statues on your left and right as you pass through, in little alcoves as you move, casting shadows like down the hall as you hold your sort of like glow light out.
I think for the first couple, I think Zyle just for their own sense of like edification, like goes up to a couple of them and like puts the little disc in their hands in the place where like a lot of them, you know, are making the gesture of holding something and just kind of testing to see if it fits.
I mean,
Like-
you know, the scale of the statues may be slightly off here or there, but it looks like the kind of thing that could be there, you know. It's the right shape.
One of them will open a secret door, Zyle. That's a great idea. Keep doing it.
It's not these that are going to do it. It's that dais that we saw in the throne room or the meeting room that'll do it. There was that little depression where this is probably supposed to go. Stay with me.
I got it. No, I've got it. I'm on board. Let's go. This place is really. I just can't do anything here.
So
That might not be the actual case.
you make your way down through the halls and into the grand area, the plaza area that you saw before, with the big statue with the sword, and the you know the what would be the main entrance, you know, like collapsed over behind you and all that stuff, and make your way through the whole place as before. It takes a while. It's a large location, and getting back to where you remember the dais being is not like an immediate thing or even like a simple thing. Panakata helps you navigate a little bit. It's clear she spent some time here once or twice. But she's not knowledgeable about it. There's no wisdom in what she's kind of like knows about it. It's very much like, I've just been in this physical space before. You know, she doesn't know anything more about the Vohdians, or in the casual conversation that you might have on your way there, she doesn't reveal anything that is, you know, like mind-shatteringly awesome or whatever. She just like has the same sort of like general knowledge about it as you.
She knows what we know.
Yeah. And you make your way back to the dais, and it's still there, still sort of like the like table with the slot in it is still like up and deployed as it was when you touched that button or what have you on the chair. Yeah.
Maybe you recorded. Make sure you get a good angle when the giant stone statue comes back to life.
Yeah, Mabel will bust out the data pad and get set up to record.
Okay.
All right. Zyle pulls the disc out and steps up onto the dais and kind of brushes the dust away from the depression and kind of looks at Panakata and goes, "You ready for this?"
I think so. Not sure what'll happen.
Neither am I. I just hope it's not more ghost skeletons trying to kill me. And they'll put the amulet down.
Okay. So you place the amulet into the slot on the dais, and there is a grinding noise as it like twists a little bit into position. And the dais itself like sort of shifts a little as if it's like slightly too far up or was out of position in some way, and like shifts a little down. And there's a bright light that just like emanates from the dais in like an explosion, almost like outward. But it illuminates the area, and there's this sort of like falling golden fungal spore stuff in the air that seems to be like from this emanation. And you notice sitting in the chairs are these like ghostly images of like in like a golden color, these ghostly images of like Vohdians that you've seen in the statues. Like they look like they must be ancient Vohdians. As you sort of turn around, it's like dazzling light. There's several. In the 8 chairs, there are 8 ghosts. And one stands by himself near the dais across from you. You don't notice as he sort of like materializes. And there's a voice as he as they speak. You can't determine gender of a plant person. And you don't understand it at first. It's like words and sounds and colors. You can almost see the color of the language they're speaking, as if there's like you're like synesthesia, like like you're having some sort of like effect happen to you rather than to the sound. Like your receiving of it is what is determining the color. And they speak for probably like 30 seconds before they seem to realize that you don't understand. And they stop, and there's another emanation from the dais, from the amulet on there. The ghost reaches out and like touches it, and there's another golden light emanation. And he speaks again, and you don't know how. You have no idea how, but you can interpret, all of you, by the way, even Mabel, you can see all this. It's like physically real, you can interpret the sounds and the colors as like words in Basic. You can hear the echo of this like uncommon language behind the actual sound, but you can interpret what is being said. And the spirit speaks and says, "I am the one who watches the sunrise. It has been a long time since anyone has placed one of our relics. What is it you need?"
I just want to understand.
To understand what?
What I'm meant to do. Where I'm meant to go.
What you're meant to do. Where you're meant to go. To know such things, I would have to know who you are. Who are you?
I guess I'm still figuring that out.
He looks to Panakatar for a second, as if like there's a moment of like confusion or acknowledgement or something. It's like a look. She seems as surprised as you all, by the way, like with no idea this was going to happen. And then looks back to Xyle and says, "Have you heard the voices of the planet?
Only recently, but yes, I think so.
Vohd speaks. The one that is Vohd speaks to those only who are of it, who belong here, who are uninvasive. Vohd's voices are the voices of our kind, long dead.
How are we to protect you?
As I said, it's been some time since anyone has spoken to the council. Like, looks around at the other ghosts, who are like nodding or gesturing or what have you. It's clear that this person is speaking for them. And they say, Vohd is alive, but the Vohdians, we are gone. And it saddens me, because I think there is more we could do.
There are some people here, and Zyle gestures to Panikatov, who have made themselves allies with Vohd, are doing the work to help.
He sort of like looks as if he's listening to a different conversation at the same time. You know, as if he has like a radio in his ear or something. Like he's listening to you, or they're listening to you, but they're listening to you in like a way that is a little distracted. You know, and they say, "Yes, I'm hearing that. I've been asleep, much to catch up on.
She could tell you all kinds of things, the work they've been doing.
The temples, if they can be reactivated in the way that you have brought this place back to life, this council back to presence, then we may be able to start growing again."
There is a noble quest.
To defend Vohd, you asked what you could do to help the planet, to help us. We would take up its defense more personally once more. When we became one with the planet, it was a time of relative peace, relative quiet in this part of the galaxy.
Well, then I think that if it is within my power to do so, I will do what I can to make sure that your request is met.
This object that you have brought, he like waves a hand over the dais with the amulet on it. Those who possess such things are considered friends. They are not given out lightly, and there are very few of them. Only our most stalwart protectors possess something of this sort. There are 3. Well, 4. You'll find them... I don't know where you'll find them, but they're not here. They're not on Vohd. If you bring them back and you go to the temples they belong to, then we may be able to start flourishing again.
I understand.
In your heart, is it protection of this planet that you truly want?
I've seen things here that I've never seen anywhere else.
To possess one of these amulets is to possess a small power, a small taste of what Vohd is capable of, what we are capable of. They are not to be handled lightly. You understand? In the wrong hands, could prove difficult, problematic. Only under my direction can we have the result we require.
I understand. I think it is high time this planet had a little bit more control over its own fate. Between the Empire and Utico, seems to me that you guys have been waiting quite long enough.
There's a smile, or what you think is a smile. It's like a warm expression, or it translates as a sort of warm expression. And they say, we've still been fighting back as best we can. No Vohdian has given up. There are plenty of reasons to want those who have imposed themselves here gone.
Trust me, I know a bit about how that works. I have my own experience with it. And I ran away once, but I don't want to do it again.
We all make choices in fear or doubt. You must bring the amulets back to their various temples. I can show you where such things are.
Definitely interested in that.
And they wave their hand, and there's sort of like a map of Vohd, like the planet appears in this like glowing golden light. And there are a couple of points on it, like ding, ding, that light up that are not like where you are now. They say they're located here. If you bring the amulet corresponding, then you will find entry.
I understand. I'm guessing there'd be some sort of symbol on them, a little bit similar to like the three things.
Very much so. Each has their own.
That helps a lot. But yeah, I'm not the only one, I think, that might have needs. My compatriots have needs of their own, I imagine.
The ghostly form of the one who watches the sunrise turns to towards Omni and Mabel, as if, at Zyle's prompting, wondering what they could want or what they'd want to say.
Yeah, I think Mabel just shakes her head like she doesn't have anything to ask for.
Attention turns to Omni, like, waiting a moment. It's clear whoever this is has quite a lot of patience. It's just like, they're not in a rush.
Well, unfortunately, it doesn't seem that you would have any technology compatible with what I'm looking for. stone doesn't make a very good building material for starships.
I really they again, that warm expression, sort of like the feeling of it sort of emanates from them, and they say, building is but one way to do things. Our people grow what they need: tools, weaponry, ships.
You surely didn't fly.
Do you think it impossible?
Well, this all seems fairly improbable in the first place. Zyle. And I suppose I hadn't thought any further about what I was going to do. It seems pretty cool to be part of restoring an ancient thing. What happened to you all anyway?
Philosophy. One does not need a physical form when one is together with all those who make up the members of their community. There was no discord.
But then somebody took the things away.
Yes, well, we overestimated our isolation.
I think we could take a few guesses as to who had a hand in taking away their relics.
So we're going to be chasing the remnants of the Empire to help a planet grow back.
I mean, this planet has helped each and every one of us grow. It's protected us, kept us safe, been our hideaway. I don't think it's asking too much that we give back a little bit. Besides, it's an adventure. We can go all over the galaxy and discover and see new things and have a home base. Vohd can be a home base.
Certainly, my people would be grateful.
You know, I could have crashed anywhere. Where it was here. And it sort of feels like the right thing to do.
I can tell you the parasites who live here now are not worth preserving. Not over our own people.
Down with the colonizers.
I don't want to kill anybody myself. There's something that feels wrong about that as well. Them all chopping the things and they don't care, and conscripting the poor robots and not good people.
Plus, they make a really nasty drug. They've essentially weaponized this planet when that's obviously not what this planet is about. I mean, if the Vohdians want to use it that way, that's one thing. But Utica doesn't have the right to.
As I said, they may not be aware of this, but if these relics fall into the wrong hands, the power of the planet could be used much more offensively than anything that they are currently engaging in.
All right. As long as you teach me how to grow things, maybe I could be the preeminent mechanic of bio metal spaceship
You'll have to forgive him. He's a bit
They're a bit.
stemmed up. They're a bit stemmed up.
Certainly
If
our
you could grow it.
certainly our craftspeople would be happy to demonstrate once they were around.
If I could take that back to Moghow, we could do all kinds of things. Maybe they forgive me for some misdemeanors as well. All right, I'm in.
It behooves me to mention that there is a fourth amulet, the 3 temples, and then one which must be returned to the only living Vohdian.
Is a living Vohdian?
Well, if you could call them a Vohdian, yes. Every ideology requires a certain balance. They are the less palatable side of our community.
Evil plots.
Where exactly are they located?
They are here on the planet.
But not anywhere near here, I'm guessing.
No, not near here.
Right. I'm guessing that's least on the list of
I would suggest that it be so. Yes.
fantastic. 3 pinballs and a creepy plant person. This should be fun. We can do this. As soon as we get our ship working, I guess. That's the first order of business.
Again, this word ours. I mean, I don't see anybody else start. Oh, right, we're working together. Yeah, right. Fine, ours.
I feel as if the other amulets have not ventured far outside the sector. But I could not tell you the locations individually. You'll
Will we
have
be
to do
able
the
to-
digging yourself.
Will we be able to feel them the way we could feel this one?
Possibly.
Then I'll have to make sure I stay in touch with searching my feelings.
Reaching out is never a bad idea.
Unless it's for a skeleton that then tries to kill you.
But did their power triumph over you? You stand here now.
I do, don't I?
Tile,
You?
did you use the Force?
What's that?
Oh, I never thought. Oh,
You're making funny noises again on me. I don't know or understand what those funny noises mean.
there are lots of people who understand it better than me, but this all seems rather, if you'll excuse the pun, fishy. Need to find somebody who can tell you more about this feeling stuff.
The
Oh,
Vohdian ghost doesn't seem to acknowledge the idea of the Force in any way.
I'll take your word for it. But yeah, not familiar with this false that you're talking about.
Oh, stories, whispers, and that's what they all talked about, but nobody knows if it was real. Oh God, like these guys.
Well, I guess it's something to look into in the future. But unless we have any further instruction from our friend here. Oh, I guess I do have a question. Should we leave this here? Should we take it with us?
Take it with you.
Okay.
It may prove helpful. And what's another sleep?
Well, if it makes you feel any better, you look very well rested.
Well, we are the remnants of a race that doesn't need us for now.
We'll find your amulets and help to restore your temples as quickly as we can.
I am
Though
gratified.
it might take some time.
I am gratified to have such a willing ally.
Teenager beams. They feel very validated.
I got a destiny.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's cool.
They kind of look over to Panakata to see if she's.
She hasn't said anything. She's just like taking it all in. She sort of like looks like a lot of things are. She has the face of one coming to many revelations at the same time.
Galaxy braining over there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you all right with finishing this, or do you have any questions to ask them?
So I've been talking to your people, then? The voices I've been hearing, the directions from the planet? The ghost replies, yes, in a sense. The communal will of Vohd is that of Vohdians who have passed. She goes, right. Okay, well, still seems like the right thing, and better than the other alternative, so we'll keep helping best we can. Ghost nods, looks to the rest of you for anything.
I think that's us then.
Take the
Really?
amulet, keep it safe, leave. Come back when you have the others.
We will do. And it was really nice to finally meet you.
He sort of like does a like hand gripping gesture and like a little bow.
Dial does the same in response, and then leans down and takes the amulet.
And as you take it, the like glow sort of fades from the room. Like you've turned off a fluorescent light and it's still glowing a little, and then it like fades out. And you're left in the dark with your like glow stick. Once again, the chairs are empty, the ghosts are gone.
That was the most amazing thing I've ever experienced in my entire life. We gotta get that ship fixed.
Mabel kind of shrugs.
Have you been many other places besides Vohd, Mabel?
Probably she hasn't.
You're more than I'm more than happy to have you just like make up wherever if you want.
I guess she would have followed that previous officer around, so yeah, maybe she has been.
There is a local
been some
planet that you
places.
like within the sector that you've probably been to called Erdau, which has an imperial like installation on it, though it's like highly classified.
Yeah.
Highly classified, you
It's
say?
like nuclear winter style atmosphere, by the way.
So yeah, Mabel, in response to like, have you been other places? She says, yes, but they were all imperial bases, secret laboratories, clandestine research facilities. And she says all these things, which are like kind of cool, as if they're really boring.
Yeah, like really boring. Yeah.
I just,
Well, if my theory is correct, and there indication that the rest of these amulets are still within the sector? Imperial bases and clandestine locations might actually be exactly what we're looking for, which makes, I mean, you already were invaluable, but you're even more so now.
I feel like we might be getting ahead of ourselves a little.
Huh.
Why would Mabel even want to come? She hasn't said that she wants to yet. You can't be going on about her as if she's already decided. I get you're excited though.
Let's see. But, I mean, without Mabel, I mean, you and I are definitely going to die.
Yeah, but if I get shot again, what will we do?
Die.
Yeah, Mabel nods like, yes, you will likely die without me.
I know that you have a lot of responsibilities here, Mabel, so I certainly don't want to ask you to make a choice between the two of them. But I really did mean what I said about Vohd being our home base, the place we always come back to.
Yes, I'll have to think about it.
That's fair.
And she just like, yeah, I think in the like the TV show version of this, we get the shot of her like thumbing the data pad and the like recording file from her old boss is there, like
Yeah,
kind of hinting at what she might be thinking
I can
about.
definitely give you the info on that like later on.
Yeah.
Well, we're probably all running low on oxygen, so we should probably start heading back.
Not me, I don't need to breathe.
Right.
She sounds really smug while saying that, as per usual.
Getting that's an ability you have.
Let's hope that they didn't get any shots of us during that firefight or me throwing that grenade, because it's going to be really awkward to get back into the city if they did.
Well, I guess the only way to find out is to head back and see. And if we were wanted criminals all of a sudden,
I'm just imagining Omni doing the frantic ship repair while like shit is going really wrong.
Yeah.
In any case, I think I've officially lost a race now.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
But I still got to drive my speeder, so could be worse. And there are the other races.
So now it's your speeder, but our ship. So I'm going to teach you about being a team player.
I have no idea what you mean.
Come on, then.
All right, you headed out?
Yeah.
I think so.
So you make your way back out of the ruins. There's like a very silent Panakata like walking with you. She's very contemplative, it seems like, as you make your way back through the halls to the like big hall with the giant statue, down the hallway with the many statues towards the room where you have like a hole to crawl back up through to the roof. I assume you're headed back up. I don't,
Yeah.
Who's going first? Who's first up the rope?
Probably Mabel.
Okay.
Oh boy, this will be fine.
So, making your way up, you emerge into the light, and there are 5 people waiting with a like speeder parked nearby. Blasters aimed at you as you come out. Like you basically got a blaster pistol to your head as you like come out of the hole. One of them you recognize is Zalarax, the like woman who's in charge of like Yutiko's operations.
Mm-hmm.
And another one of them is blue-skinned, black-haired with red eyes, looks very similar to Zyle. Masculine presenting. standing there like talking with Zelarax as the like henchmen sort of corral you up, and they like wait for all three of you to get like pulled out of the hole, and like have you at gunpoint. And then do you know this Chiss?
Maybe not. There are a lot of Chiss.
Sure, I'm just asking if you want a relationship with them previously, or what have you.
I'm gonna assume they don't know this one.
Okay.
But I mean, that's not gonna matter too much. It's the first Chiss they've seen since they left, so that in and of itself is a huge deal.
Did Pana stay behind? No, Pana is also in this gang of like arrested people. She looks like she's about to get violent, obviously, because she can't be arrested. And there's a moment where they like sort of gather you up, try and get everything set up. It's a very awkward place to fight from, trying to climb out of a hole, right? So like even Panakata is not gonna like try and shoot her way out of that situation. There are five people in all, 3 henchmen and the Chiss and Zelarax. And Zelarax looks across the bunch of you and runs a hand through her like gray hair. You've seen her before. She wrestled with Kryno. And she sighs, and then looks behind her and beckons another person out from like the darkness, and it's Keld, the like grizzled old bounty hunter lady. And she says, well, looks like your lucky day. And Keld goes, you're right. And then just blam! Shoots Panakata right in the chest and disintegrates her on the spot. Ash, dust, nothing left. And that's where I'm gonna end the episode right there.
What?
I have to. Yep. That's where we're gonna end the episode for today.
Rest in peace to a real one, Panakata.
Rest in peace to a real one. Yeah. And that's the end of the episode. I know it's a little early, but I can't pacing wise, I couldn't get here.
Yeah, no, you're totally fine.
Yeah, and we'll deal with the aftermath, the cleanup after that, because
cleanup involves a dustpan. You just sweep the ashes into it, and then
disintegrations are fine when there's a witness who's gonna pay, right? Like the person who's gonna pay you saw you do it, so it's all good.
Oh shit.
That's
Wow.
That's it for today. Let's do shoutouts, everybody. Let's do shoutouts. Let's start with Dave. Dave, go.
Oh, I said it partway through the second half. I love this show so much. I love everything that Elf and the Discord have worked on. It's an absolute pleasure and a privilege to be playing this campaign. I now have to say stuff about myself. Dave_the_human on Twitter, and we do the Monday game, Candlekeep Mysteries. That's
right now being
really fun at the moment as
DM'd
well.
by Persephone, who's doing
at
a
the moment,
freaking fantastic job.
Yeah. Oh, I think 2 amazing campaigns at the moment. And that's kind of all. That's everybody rocking and rolling those.
All
I
right.
don't have anything else to say.
All right, great.
We're all good.
Andrew, you go.
I'm Andrew. You can follow me on Twitter at CommutingCrow. I have a TTRPG called Girl by Moonlight that is coming out at some point, which is a game of Tragic Magical Girls. It's a Forged in the Dark game. So you can look that up on Evil Hat Publishing. Yeah, that's me.
Wonderful. And Zyle, Aki, go.
Hi, everybody. I am Aki. You can find me on Twitter at Mixgenie in a Bottle. That's MXGINIINABOTTLE. And today, immediately following this at 4:30, you can find me over on my personal Twitch stream, streaming out some really cool material from the students over at USC Games as part of their USC Games Expo 2021. I'm really excited. I'm going to be showing you showing you some gameplay, trailers, lots and lots of neat stuff, a little bit of live play here and there, but it's a nice 2-hour chunk of getting to see what the future of games looks like. That's at 4:30 today at Pacific time over on my personal Twitch channel, twitch.tv/ShidariAki. That's SHIDAREAKI.
Wonderful. And there's me. Hello, I'm DistractedElf. You can find me at twitch.tv/DistractedElf or on Twitter at DistractedElf. I run this game, obviously, and the GM stream day before on Thursdays at 1 p.m. PST, where I like plan what's going to happen in the various Friday games. And then I am also in the Monday game that Dave mentioned before, the Candlekeep Mysteries game, 1 p.m. PST on D&D Twitch channel. And then I run a bunch of stuff on my personal channel where I do like a bunch of strategy games and stuff. I talked about doing some Resident Evil, maybe talking about getting back into League ranked games with my partner Siobhan. You know, maybe I don't know what we're doing, but we'll do stuff occasionally on my channel when I don't have another project to do somewhere else. Thank you all for the 10th episode of Desperate Gamble today. Very hype, and I feel like a lot of stuff is coming to a head, and there's some drama. There's some drama going on. So getting to reveal some of the Vohd stuff was like, finally. We've been talking about it in the Discord for forever. And that's another thing. If you like Desperate Gamble and you're like, hey, I'd like to help Elf write and build the world that we're playing in, you know, the Star Wars universe that we're playing in, we have a Discord channel or a Discord server specifically for Desperate Gamble. Join that and you can do so. What else? Oh, Roll20, obviously. Roll20 is a great program that allows you to virtual tabletop over a wonderful amount of distance, a vast amount of distance. You can sign up for free at roll20.net for an account and play with your friends tabletop games across however long. You too can experience the pleasure of having one NPC shoot another NPC for emotional value. We'll see you next week. Have a good one, friends. Bye.